Brittney Griner is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia, in a man's prison.
Caitlin Clark got elbowed, cursed at, and now there's talk that Brittney Griner might not even belong in the WNBA? Sounds wild, right? But now doctors are weighing in and it's getting serious. They're pointing out things like bone structure, muscle mass, recovery rates, and suddenly people are asking if Griner should have ever been allowed to play in the first place. The WNBA isn't saying a word. Stick around because what's being uncovered could shake the league to its core.
So this is the truth about Brittney. Brittney is a weird case. He's a man, yes, that much is obvious, but not in the way that you think. He isn't trans. He's a straight cis male who was raised as a girl and given a girl's name by his parents. His mother is the insane one. She forced him to live as a female right up through high school, filled out all of his paperwork, including BC as female, and kept the charade going. He played on girls' sports teams because his papers said he was a girl. He had to keep pretending in college, stay in women's teams, and now he just has to keep barely pretending to stay in the WNBA.
All right, let's set the stage. Caitlin Clark, rookie sensation. Spotlight magnet, the face of women's basketball is squaring off against the Atlanta Dream. Now, instead of just hooping, the Dream come in with a different agenda. They're not trying to win pretty, they're trying to get physical. The Dream's defenders, they were in Caitlin's face all game, face guarding her full court, throwing little bumps, whispering trash talk. You could tell they were trying to get in her head. But Caitlin, nah, she didn't bite. She kept her cool, kept launching threes, dropping dimes, and running the floor like a seasoned pro. You could see the poise like she's been built for this stage her whole life. Then it got real. Griner, clearly frustrated, picked up an offensive foul trying to muscle Clark. The chirping got louder. Naz Hillman joined in, but Caitlin stood tall. And right before walking off, she looked one of them dead in the eye and said, "I'm not scared of you." And boom, just like that, the clip blew up. Fans loved it, but here's the twist. This wasn't just basketball drama. What started as a heated moment on the court spiraled into something way bigger. So let me ask you, if Clark had thrown an elbow or said something out of pocket, would she still be on the court today? Or would she be facing suspension headlines? Brittney Griner clearly heated threw a sharp elbow right into Caitlin's path. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't incidental, it looked intentional. The kind of move that says, "I'm gonna remind you who's boss." But Clark didn't retaliate. She just kept hooping, and later, while Griner was sitting on the bench, cameras caught something else, her mouthing what appeared to be trash-fucksing white girl. Yeah, that's right, it's all over the internet. Lip readers confirmed it. Multiple angles, multiple replays, and still silence. No suspension, no fine, no comment from the WNBA, nothing.
It's very simple, but people didn't want to do that. There was a lot of people that didn't want to do that. Let's call it what it is. I ain't gonna mention no names, but y'all know who they are, and they didn't want to do that. And I'm not talking about players and just players. Talk about announcers too. Talk about pundits as well. There's a whole bunch of people that didn't want to give Caitlin Clark her shine.
You've got to ask, if a white player had said that to a black player, would the response be the same? Why is this being swept under the rug? What's the league protecting here? Or maybe who are they protecting? Okay, let's rewind. Most folks know Griner for her dominance on the court, shot blocking, dunking, gold medals, but not many talk about what happened off the court, especially in Russia. She got arrested for carrying vape cartridges and ended up in a Russian prison.
From the White House to Brittney Griner's teammates, reaction continues to pour in this morning after the WNBA star was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. A judge found her guilty of possessing and smuggling illegal drugs. Authorities arrested her 5 months ago at an airport in Moscow after they found cartridges with cannabis oil in her luggage.
But not just any prison, a men's prison. That detail rarely makes headlines, but court records and Russian news outlets confirm it. And here's what gets people talking. Why would Russian authorities send her to a male facility? What did they know or assume that others ignored? If another WNBA player, especially a white one, had a record like that, do you think the league would stay this quiet? Would they brush it off or dig deeper? You see where I'm going with this? The silence isn't isn't just suspicious, it's loud. This next part isn't based on rumors or memes. This is science. Real doctors, sports medicine experts, performance analysts started looking into Griner's case. And what they found, let's just say, it raised eyebrows.
And I talked to one of the refs when she checks in. Hey, we got history from the first game.
There's not just the voice, there's these pictures, that have come out. And I know a lot of people immediately want to say, well, these are, they're not real pictures, right? They're doctored photographs. But this one I saw, I was like, man, that's actually the girlfriend in the background. But let's say this is doctored. There's not the tattoo on the rib cage, right? That usually there is. But it's very difficult because you say that tattoo, but when you're taking a picture, it flips, right? So it kind of gives it like a mirror image. So that's not necessarily the right side. That's his left side, right? So there wouldn't be a tattoo.
Griner's body structure, broad shoulders, square jawline, muscle mass is way beyond the norm for even elite female athletes. Add in her movement mechanics, recovery rate, and vocal tone. And these experts started asking the big question, has there ever been a proper biological verification for her to play in the WNBA? Let me be clear, they weren't being hateful, they were being honest. Their job is to understand performance differences, and the more they looked, the more they started to speak out. So here's a question worth asking. Are legitimate medical concerns being ignored just because they're uncomfortable? Now, if you've been online, you might have seen a resurfaced Instagram story from Griner's own account. She was shirtless in the video. And guess what? Instagram's AI system didn't flag it for female nudity.
Flag you. Brittany, let me see something real quick. Brick! Thank you! Get the hell out of here, yo! Jab stepping with the brick. Swing and a miss. Oh! Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
It let it stay up for nearly 2 years. Why is that important? Because Instagram uses some of the most advanced AI in the world to detect explicit content. And that AI, it identified her as male. Medical experts weighed in after seeing the clip.
But my first inclination is to say that this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors, but specifically the AI detection to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a bare female chest, we have to take this down. It obviously assumed that Brittney was male and therefore being topless on the platform was totally fine. It did not constitute as nudity.
They analyzed the muscle definition, the chest structure, and the torso alignment. Their conclusion? It didn't match up with what you'd expect from a biological female, even one who's had surgery. This wasn't gossip, this was tech and science sounding the alarm. And still, no response from the league. At what point does silence stop being neutral and start looking like a cover-up?
Oh, is Brittney trans? We had this discussion on The Unusual Suspects nearly a year ago, and Rob even floated the theory that oftentimes if breast cancer runs in a family, women will preemptively get like double mastectomies. And there are some great surgeons out there, don't get me wrong, but I don't see any scars on Brittney's chest that would be indicative of a double mastectomy or like top surgery in general for gender transition. So the other possibility that I guess we could speculate is maybe Brittney is intersex, but still then, they would have way more testosterone in their system than the average WNBA.
Let's step back from the controversy for a second. In sports, we divide categories by biology for a reason. It's why there are men's leagues and women's leagues, why boxing has weight classes, why age groups exist in youth sports, because fairness matters, because safety matters. And here's where it gets tricky. According to some medical experts, Griner's physical traits give her a massive advantage. Not just a little edge, a real advantage. Stronger bones, denser muscles, faster recovery. That changes everything on the court. Caitlin Clark didn't just get elbowed, she got shoved by someone who may have a completely different physical makeup.
And this post got 2.3 million views and states that this is the truth about Brittney. Brittney is a weird case. He's a man, yes, that much is obvious, but not in the way that you think. He isn't trans. He's a straight cis male who was raised as a girl and given a girl's name by his parents. His mother is the insane one. She forced him to live as a female right up through high school, filled out all of his paperwork, including BC as female, and kept the charade going. He played on girls' sports teams because his papers said he was a girl. He had to keep pretending in college, stay in women's teams, and now he just has to keep barely pretending to stay in the WNBA. But in all other ways, he lives life as a man. He wears men's clothes, dates and married a woman, has masculine features, and takes masculine roles. If not for his mother's insanity, he would be a mediocre male player in the NBA. And honestly, that may even be a little bit generous in this context. In a way, I feel sorry for him because all of his success depends on him maintaining the lie he's lived with for his whole life.
That's not competition, that's a mismatch. So what's the WNBA going to do about it? Let's talk about the mindset. Psychologists started chiming in too, and not just about Griner's physicality, but her attitude on the court. They pointed out patterns, anger, hostility, targeted aggression, especially in moments like the one with Clark. And when you combine that with potential identity issues or unresolved conflict, it paints a bigger picture. It's not just about being physical, it's about why she's being physical, why that elbow got thrown, why that slur may have been said, and the bigger question, what does it say about a league that doesn't step in? Now let's look at the bigger picture. If the WNBA keeps quiet, what's at risk? First off, lawsuits. Athletes competing under unfair conditions have every right to take legal action. Sponsors might pull out, fans might walk away, the league's reputation gone. Because this isn't just about Griner, it's about every future athlete, every rising star who will question if the league has their back. If you're building a league on fairness and empowerment, you've got to act when something feels off, right? So ask yourself this, is it worth risking the entire future of women's basketball just to protect one player? And through it all, Caitlin Clark keeps showing up. She's still selling out arenas, still leading her team, still giving everything to the game. But how long can she carry the league while also dealing with elbows, slurs, and silence? Where's the support? Where's the leadership? Because if the league can't protect someone like Clark, their biggest star, what message are they sending to every girl watching at home? Play great, take abuse, and pray someone notices? Clark deserves better. The fans deserve better. And honestly, the game deserves better. This story's not going away. Not with medical evidence piling up, not with fans demanding answers, and definitely not with Clark continuing to dominate the headlines. It's time for the WNBA to face the music, to be transparent, to put fair play first. Should every athlete go through proper biological testing? Should competitive integrity come before politics? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the WNBA is handling this right or covering up something massive? Hit that like button if you believe in fairness. Subscribe if you want more unfiltered takes on the stories nobody else wants to talk about.